Camera lens effects are a really simple to use but often overlooked aspect of Unreal's camera system. Lens effects are particle effects that are applied to the lens of the player's camera, and they can be used to create effects such as rain dripping down the player camera, blood splatters, or even dust and mud. Lens effects are built in two parts, the particle system itself and the script code for the lens effect and adding it to the player camera. In this tutorial we're going to walk through creating a basic lens effect for a bloody screen. Chris has already shown you how to create the actual particle effect in the previous tutorial, and I'm going to walk you through how to implement it. UDK provides a really simple built-in structure and functionality to easily apply lens effects to the camera. So we'll go through actually setting up the code in this tutorial. The supporting code and particle assets are also available for download. The base lens effect class is called emitter camera lens effect base. If we open up this file here, then you can see that we have some really basic properties for any given lens effect. The key one here is PS_camera effect, which points to the actual particle system that we want to use. These lens effects inherit from the emitter class, which means that anything an emitter can do, we can also do on the lens effect. This includes things such as programmatically setting emitter parameters, allowing us to do things such as fading in and out over time. To set up your game to support camera lens effects, there are a few things that you need to do. Firstly, a player camera is required. The effect itself gets attached and moved with the player camera, so you have to make sure your camera class inherits from game player camera. Keep in mind that UT game doesn't actually have a player camera, so if you're inheriting from UT game you may need to add this yourself. I've already got mine set up in our player controller class here. As you can see, camera class equals game player camera. I've also got my game type inheriting from UT game, my player controller inheriting from UDK player controller, and my pawn class inheriting from UDK pawn. To create a new camera effect, we simply create a new class and extend the emitter camera lens effect base class. I've already got mine here called PGT emitter camera lens effect. For every effect you want to have a new unique class for each one. So for blood, or for dust, or for water. The great part about lens effects is you only have to write a minimal amount of code in order to get them to actually work. There's only a couple of variables that you need to worry about, and we can set all these inside the default properties block. The two main important ones, if we go back to the emitter camera lens effect base class, are PS camera effect, which is the actual particle system, dist from camera, and also ballow multiple instances. Ballow multiple instances, we set this to true if multiple instances of the emitter can exist simultaneously. Dist from camera defines how far away the particle is from the camera, assuming a field of view of 80 degrees. So let's go ahead and set up the default properties of our lens effect. We need the camera effect, the particle effect itself, the distance from the camera, and the fact that we'd like to allow multiple instances of this particle effect. So I'm going to set my PS camera effect to the particle system we made in the previous tutorial. Allow multiple instances to true, and dist from camera, for the purpose of this effect, is going to be 870. Let's build and make sure that's all good, and that compiled successfully. The final thing we need to do is actually show the effect on the player's camera. In the player controller class, we do have a handy little function called client spawn camera lens effect, and we just pass it a reference to the class for the lens effect that we'd like to spawn. You do need to create unique lens effects class for every effect you want. One for blood, one for dirt, one for rain, so on and so forth. For now, I've got this hooked up to an exec function, so we jump in the game and type in a console command, but you can create Kismet commands, or you can just call client spawn camera lens effect directly from, say, your take damage functions for your player. So I'm going to press F5 to launch in game. The command I've got here is spawn lens effect. I'm going to spawn lens effect, and you can see we have a nice bloody screen there for the player. Lens effect can also be added through anim notifies with the anim notify camera effect notify. This is done in animation sets. That's all for this video tutorial. Hope you learned something, and thanks for watching.